Good morning, afternoon, evening, or nighttime, wherever and whenever you may be watching. Thanks for clicking. Today's video, we're going to be looking at Petrichor planes by the Australian company Mihan Aromatics or Mihan Aromatics. I'm not from Australia, so I may be pronouncing that wrong. I do apologise. As I said, Australian company, which is nice because off the top of my head, there aren't loads of Australian companies or perfume houses. Price-wise, I think when they started, they offered like a 100ml bottle and a 50ml bottle, but I think relatively recently they've started offering 30ml bottles and they come in at about £100, 95 to £100. I'll try and put on the video roughly where the 50ml and the 100ml sits, but I know the 30ml is about £100. Let's talk about the packaging a little bit. You need to be a little bit careful when opening with this sleeve. Again, this is quite an old bottle, so maybe they have changed the packaging as well, but the sleeve comes off. And then on the back, you have some ingredient information. And the reason I say you need to be careful is because the weight of it, it can sometimes slide off. There's the box on the back, a little message, like a brand message. But yeah, plain box, and then some information on the bottom, and then you open the box to reveal genuinely one of my favorite perfume bottles that I own. It's nothing super unique, it's nothing crazy unique, but there's something about it which is just so elegant and classy, and it is quite weighty as well. As you can see, there's a lot of thick glass at the bottom. The cap is also very heavy and magnetic, which is great. Does this say something on the bottom of the cap? That's nice. I don't know if you can read that. I don't think I've ever noticed that. It just says familial scents of Australia, made in Mihan Aromatics. But yeah, there is the fragrance, and let's spray it on skin. Pressurized sprayer, always a good thing. Let's talk about the smell. What I'm hit with instantly is a smell very reminiscent of Santal 33 by Le Labo, which for the people who smelled it would know that it is a sandalwood bomb. It is very heavy sandalwood. This, although it reminds me a lot of Santal 33, it isn't as pungent. And I think pungent is a key word, because I don't want to say it's not as strong as Santal 33, because I don't think that's the case. For me, and I've talked a little bit about this before, Santal 33 is too pungent and too harsh to my nose. Like, it's one of them fragrances where I don't think I could ever spray. I don't own it, but I don't think I could ever spray it on my neck. It would just be like half a spray, maybe on the back of my hand, because the thought of it being that close to my nose, I think it would go really bored of it really quick. It's a very strong, almost intrusive fragrance, and over the years I've smelled it more and more in city centres. I even smelled it at Glastonbury a few times. People walking, like, you get influencers at festivals with a lot more money. And yeah, just Santal 33 is in a lot of places. This, on the other hand, Petrichor Plains, does Santal 33, does that sort of sandalwood fragrance that almost, to me personally, like spices with a tint of apple. There's something about it which is like a spiced apple going on. It's softened down, it's softened on the edges. It is just, to me, it would smell like Santal 33 is an eau de toilette, and this is like the parfum version. It's just softer and more digestible. With all that being said about Santal 33 and how I think it compares to it, you'd think there would be sandalwood in this fragrance, but there's no sandalwood listed. Petrichor Plains, as the name suggests, with the Petrichor, it is going for that sort of earth, like hot earth after rain sort of chemical smell. And off the top of my head, the notes in it are rain accord or rain notes. You've got iris, I think there's cardamom and rosemary, quite an interesting note. It doesn't smell herbal or anything like that to me. And then at the base, I think there is amyris and Australian Buddha wood. which, again, not too familiar with Buddha but no sandalwood, interestingly. My only assumption with the spices is going to be the iris and the cardamom. The iris is not powdery. It doesn't smell anything like Dior Homme or that sort of line of fragrances. The rain, I do get that sort of, what's this note called? Geosmin, which is used in like Bat by Zoologist and I think Gaia by Centauri Perfumes. There is an earthy quality to it, which reminds me of another fragrance. So for me personally, I've got Santal 33 in the opening, or a nicer, softer, for my palate, a more easygoing version of Santal 33. As time progresses, like after that sort of 20 minutes, half an hour mark, the rain/earth notes come into it more, and it reminds me a lot of Encre Noir by the house Lalique, is it? Encre Noir? I'm not too sure. But it reminds me of that. It reminds me of wet, mossy woods, which for me personally, I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of that sort of like damp forest sort of note going on. To me, is kind of mystical and a bit like magical almost, you know? So I like the fact that comes in. There is also, I'm smelling now when I'm thinking about that iris, maybe there is a touch of some sort of plastic, like Crayola sort of thing going on, which I can only assume, you know, when they talk about the hot earth after the rain, I'm sure that maybe like asphalt, like road surface is also maybe a note or something attributed to petrichor plains. But yeah, it's got that sort of like that spicy element to Santal 33 and then that wet, damp, earthy quality of Encre Noir by Lalique. In regards to performance, it's a beast for me personally. As I said at the start of the video, I wanted to use the word pungent and not strong because this is strong. It lasts and lasts. You will get whiffs of it throughout the day. For me, the sort of wafts that I get of smell more lean into that Santal 33 category than more sort of like high-end, niche, whatever you want to call it, category. Whereas the Encre Noir, damp, more indie sort of smell is when you put your nose close to it. So it is an interesting sort of morphing fragrance. Classy, elegant, Santal 33-esque in the air, but up close, interesting, indie, damp, sort of forest vibes, which, yeah, I'm a big fan. Just to finish on like versatility and when and where you would wear this fragrance, that's a tricky one, to be honest. Because of that comparison to Santal 33, I personally wouldn't like to wear this on a hot day. I don't think it would work well. So for me personally, I'm talking autumn, winter, and maybe the start of spring. Where you would wear it, again, is an interesting one. For me personally, I would like to wear this like if I was going on a walk through the woods or something like that. Maybe going out for dinner as well. Because, like the two complete opposites. Like I said, if I smell it up close, it smells like wet, mossy earth. But in the air, it smells classy. So it's a real interesting fragrance. If you guys have smelled it, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, catch you on the next video. Peace.